Check, 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 check. You here? You here? These headphones are so hot. I don't know how people actually podcast with these the whole time. Um. All right, people. What is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of In the Middle with Dominique. It's me, Dominique. And for those who are here on YouTube, those who are listening, go to YouTube, Disneyland Productions, or at Dom Dizza, DOMDZA. Hit the subscribe button, like button. At least you could do is hit a like button. I mean, subscribe, yes, like, definitely. As you can tell from the thumbnail and the picture, the title, everything, we're going to be talking about Melyssa Ford, and not so much Melyssa Ford per se, but the conversation that I witnessed that had me triggered. Okay, so this whole thing started because how did this start? Apparently, 2 weeks ago, Joe Budden and Ish got into it on the podcast, arguing about something that Joe said that he wouldn't do, which he actually he actually did do. And so Ish was calling him out as a hypocrite. And this is a dialogue. Apparently, it came out 2 weeks ago. But I had just heard about the argument between Ish and Joe recently. So I tried to find a clip to see if the clip was going to be available outside of the episode. So Saturday morning, I don't know why it was Saturday morning and why this thought stumbled upon my head or wanted me to investigate what the hell was going on. So I see the fight or whatever the case, they're going back and forth. I hear both points. Um, and it doesn't help that Joe has this type of personality or this reputation where people feel some type of way about him in arguments, and that he has a way about him as far as like being gaslighty and moving goalposts, and they're calling out the rules or the flags that are happening in the conversation, but it's not happening. So they're going back and forth, or they're in the middle of this altercation or whatever, and so the video ends. That video is like 10 minutes. It's just showing the situation between Ish and Joe. So I'm like, well, I want to see the whole video. I want to see the whole video. Let me see if I could find it. Child, I found it. I found it all right. And in the first 25 minutes, I had to turn it off because I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed and frustrated. Okay. They are talking, and Queen's Flip asks Melyssa, like, Mel, do you have a group chat? Do you listen to the people in your group chat about like some of the things that's happening here? Do you listen to the feedback, whether it be the group chat, the comments, or whatever the case? And she's like, yeah, kind of, whatever. Fast forward, they end up calling her high maintenance, and she runs away from it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not high maintenance. But in the conversation, he ends up sharing like, oh, well, since you've been here, I've been trying to get you to get your hair done or whatever the case. You asked me to help you trying to find a hairstylist, and then I send you someone that I know who does good work, and you never even text me back. You asked me for some help. I send you the help, and you don't even text like a thank you or nothing. He just didn't hear from her after that. And so she goes into defending herself. And I find that not her specifically, but in a lot of situations, women either don't mind being called high maintenance, and those who are maintenance, they can't run away from it, obviously. But pretty girls who are high maintenance, but they're still down to earth, they don't want to identify as high maintenance. And she's like, no, I'm not high maintenance. I know women who have like full day self-care days. I could paint my nails at home. I don't need one, what do you call it? One nail tech to do my pedicures. Um and so when it came to the hair thing, they was talking about how when she first came, she was wearing this wig that apparently folks didn't like or whatever, and then she got these braids. Joe also talked about how he tried to take her wig shopping and that didn't go well. I don't know what happened with the wig, and it was very confusing. It was pretty silly to me, so I didn't really invest that part of it. And I was also frustrated listening to this conversation as Melyssa is trying to backpedal out of being high maintenance. Queen's Flip says that she's high maintenance because she um she said that three hours wasn't enough to prepare for a impromptu trip to the airport, wherever she was going. Apparently, the dude had money, whatever the case, blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, yeah, 3 hours is not enough time from waking up to be able to be ready to go to the airport, check in, all of those things. Um, yeah. So, boom. Why this conversation? What does this have to do with high maintenance and insecurities? Right? So what I'm saying is that when I was younger, boys all the time used to talk about or complain about the stuck up girl, the high maintenance girl. I think that was also another reason why I wasn't too keen on Barbies because boys hated Barbies. Now, I'm not sure if I was trying to, attract those boys because I didn't really care at that point. But I knew that even growing up when I became a teenager, the idea of being high maintenance was something that guys didn't like. And I feel like now living in New York, there is a level of high maintenance, but that comes with like materialistic things. Like, oh yeah, a lot of men end up talking or feeling some type of way about women who are high maintenance simply because they can't afford it. They can't afford it. Women who take care of themselves, who actually take care, women, period, are high maintenance. We have to think about our hair, eyebrows, lashes, makeup, um, clothes, the way our body fits, and the way our body is, like our fitness, our health. Um, and so it's nothing wrong with being high maintenance, but men will really make you feel some type of way when they're broke and they don't have the resources to help you take care of yourself. I had a whole conversation with this man, and this is going to come in another conversation, another episode, or another video, or whatever. Um, and he was talking about how a husband is supposed to be ready and willing to die, provide everything for his wife, period. And a lot of men these days, I talk to men and not talk to men in like dating or I'm messing with them or anything like that. But I have conversations with men and I try to see where their perspective is because as a woman, a heterosexual woman, I am attracted to men. And a lot of times or earlier or when I was thinking about doing this podcast before, it was like before Kevin Samuels, it was like, oh, it's a whole bunch of women on the market talking about how men ain't shit and this and that, but there's no space for women to take accountability. And then like this whole red pill, blue pill thing develops. And yeah, the idea of catering to a woman end up being some beta blue pill shit. And that's kind of strange to me. And it's like, if you're in a relationship with each other, it's not a matter of it being unbalanced. You don't want the relationship to be unbalanced, but you also don't want to be with someone who doesn't have discipline, right? Everything takes maintenance. A home takes maintenance. Your spirituality takes maintenance when you're dealing with people. Sorry for the noise. Apparently, they're doing construction across the street, and the mic could pick up this noise. But when you have something that's worth something that has value, you have to maintain it. You have to maintain it. The relationship you have to maintain. A relationship could be high maintenance, and that depends on your partner. But being high maintenance is not a bad thing. Be secure in the things that you actually take care of. I was talking to somebody another time too, where they were talking about responsibilities and chores and things like that. I personally didn't grow up with chores. Not growing up with chores had my life fucked up for a while. I didn't have structure. in a way that helped me move forward. The structure that I had helped me do this. It didn't help me do this, you know? And so going back to the other conversation that I had, as far as like feeling like I needed a parent. Yeah, I probably did need a parent because growing up developmentally, I missed something to pick up to be able to have the discipline to take care of the things that I actually have, to maintain the things that I actually have. Not just trying to, not take care of it and replace it because that becomes wasteful. Finding significance in things, finding the true value of things, and maintaining those things are good. People praise you for that. And so she's sitting there in the conversation like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not high maintenance. And Joe is over there like, yes, you are. Ish, for whatever reason, I don't know, is like hearing what she's saying and like, nah, Mel is mad down to earth and this and that and blah blah blah. You could be down to earth and still high maintenance. Oh, she came in initially and she was walking in sweatpants. Like she don't really care, X, Y, and Z. So not caring and wearing sweatpants doesn't mean that you're low maintenance. If I'm going to the store and I'm just going to the store, people will probably, there are women out there who get all the way dressed up, heels and everything to go to the store. All right, fine, whatever. I'm not doing that. Why? Because I don't have an issue with just going to the store and coming back home. Some women are on the prowl. If I was on the prowl, I would get dressed too. Get dressed too, put up a little bit of makeup, some mascara. Jasmine Sullivan has a song called Mascara. She's talking about making sure that you look good because you never know where your man is, essentially. And that is true. But I'm not looking for my man every time I'm going outside. She had just explained to us that she moved from California to the East Coast and the moving company did something with her clothes where she didn't have access to the things that she needed or had on a regular basis for like a month and a half. So she was wearing this weird wig that people started snapping her on. Then, people are saying, "Oh yeah, she wore that wig and she didn't care what people were saying." Um, and now she got these braids. Now she got the braids, right? She got the braids, and for whatever reason, they're not the braids that she wants. Parks are not saying that she wants. Like she did it. She wasn't 100% satisfied with the service or the style or whatever. And she's like, understand, like I had a stylist over in California for 8 years. One hair braider for 8 years. That is high maintenance. That's high maintenance. Just because you only have one braider doesn't mean that is low maintenance because you only have one person. You get what I'm saying? But it's very high maintenance. In order to be with someone for 8 years, that's a relationship. Granted, she's providing the service and you're giving her money for that service, but you trust her enough to know that she's going to do the job that you asked for. You're comfortable enough that you keep going there for 8 years, that you won't go to anybody else. You feel secure enough in knowing that her environment is safe and comfortable. You know that the results are going, your hair is going to be the way that you want it. That's high maintenance. Having one stylist for 8 years, that's very high maintenance. And it's not about the material things that are you're maintaining. It's the relationship. Because she also mentions if I had the funds, I would fly her out here. That doesn't necessarily make sense for her economically right now. Because who's to say when she is economically, financially stable enough to fly out her stylist, who knows that she won't just hire her? Ladies, there's nothing wrong with being high maintenance. Actually, I encourage you to be high maintenance. And don't sit in a room full of men like Melyssa Ford who are trying to give her props and just stem away from, yeah, it takes a lot to maintain me. Shit, it takes a lot to maintain me too. And I didn't even do my hair. I did my hair like a couple of days ago and I got caught in the rain. And I'm still here simply because I said that I was going to be here at 10 o'clock. So I didn't take out the time to do my hair over because a bitch is still tired, actually. I was up to like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because my sleep schedule is off. Why? Because I don't have a job to wake up to. So I set this up together as far as having free time, waking up in the morning, doing stuff like this that is productive, doing something that is productive in the morning so that I could have a regular night's sleep. But over the weekend, it just gets crazy. Like, shit was crazy. So, you want to be able to be high maintenance. Don't let anybody discourage you from being high maintenance. Can you be high maintenance and insecure? Yes. High maintenance and insecure screams children. Like the first thing that comes to my mind is a child, someone who requires a lot but is insecure. And when you're insecure, you can't stand securely in who you are. So you could be high maintenance and insecure. You could be high maintenance and broke. You could be high maintenance and broke. To me, that's what a city girl lifestyle sounds like to me. Like you broke and you trying to get money from other dudes so that they could pay for your lifestyle. I'm the different type. Like I would prefer to be able to provide the things that I need, and whatever somebody gives me is because they want to give it to me. You know what I'm saying? Not because it's this transactional situation where I do this for you and you pay me for it. Or I provide this experience for you and you pay me for the experience. That's not the methods for me. But making sure, look, there are people that I know who, for instance, I was at a situation on Saturday and somebody that I know was asking for money for a cab. And there's nothing wrong with asking for money for a cab. But it's just the whole fact that when they were rejected, they started cursing everybody out or started cursing them out simply because they wasn't willing to provide the things that they needed. Like one person wasn't able to, or wasn't willing to provide the things that was being asked for. Yeah, you require so much, but you do so little to acquire those things. And then you just assume that someone is going to give it to you because it's urgent to you at that particular moment. It's not urgent to me. It's not urgent to me. And as a matter of fact, the way that my life is set up, I'm not going to be sitting up here requiring for somebody else to take care of me. As an adult, that's what we do. We take care of ourselves. And if you're in relationship or in partnership with someone, then yeah, you have support in taking care of yourself. And if you have a great family, then you have a network of supportive people who will take care of you. There are people out there who don't have that. They don't have a plethora of people to help take care of them. So they need to understand what is necessary to maintain the things that they have. And even if it's a little bit of things, everything should be high maintenance. You should want to, and I'm not going to say everything should be high maintenance because that's not true. But you should have something that you will want to maintain for a long time. And understanding when the time is over. Understand when the time is over. When the conversation is over, a lot of people are emotionally invested in different situations, even all the way down to an argument. That whole situation with Melyssa Ford frustrated me so much because people will dead ass play small just because they internalize a statement, oh, you're like a statement like you're high maintenance to be something bad. Then they end up talking about a plane because they was talking about the trip. And homie who she was gonna or who paid for this impromptu trip that she was supposed to be ready for in 3 hours for her seat that was like 33B. Now that shit wouldn't have worked for me. That shit wouldn't have worked for me. 33 nothing. I don't take a lot of trips, but when I am traveling, it has to be a particular way. I have to have a window seat. I would prefer to sit at the whatchamacallit, the exit seat, so I can have leg room. I'm 5'8", so I need space. And I need a window so I could rest my head on the window or look out the window when I don't want to be bothered with these people or when I can't sleep in between naps. Because really, I fall asleep before the plane even takes off. Before the wheels are back into the plane, I'm probably sleeping. But yeah, there would be no 33 nothing. There would be no B seat nothing. Seat B nothing. Seat C nothing. I've been on airplanes where they had A's, E's, and F's. Not to say like A through E or A through F. A's are window seats, obviously. And sometimes E and F are window seats. My hair right now are very two different textures because of how I did it. It was styled up and then it rained. And so this right here is a completely different texture than from the perimeter, where you can see that most of it is straight and this hair is not straight. But that's going to take me some time. Or I could go get my hair done, whatever. I'm not going to go get my hair done. The point of the matter is that being high maintenance is not bad. Anything worth something requires maintenance. Even if it's just sitting on the shelf, you have to come back and tend to it so that it's not covered in dust. Because that also shows how you value it. If you don't tend to it, you don't really value it, and it doesn't necessarily get what it needs. If Melyssa keeps talking about how low maintenance she is, she's not going to end up getting what she needs, and she's going to keep getting these tickets that go to 33 seats that's in row 33. And it's okay if you too good to sit in row 33. Some people are. Shit, I'm too good to ride Spirit. I don't care. I don't care. You're not going to put me in the air and just think that I'm just going to, just because it says Spirit on the plane, that is going to get me to where I'm going. I'm not flying Spirit. I'm never flying Spirit. If I have to fly Spirit, I don't need to go. I don't need to go. Sure, I will polish my nails too if I could. But if my nails need to be polished, I need to go to the nail salon. People don't scrape their feet. Like, I mean, they'll go to pedicures. They'll get pedicures. That's not to say that that's weird to me. But what's the quality of your feet like? Are they dried up and crusty? Or do you take care of them at home? Just because you don't go to the nail salon doesn't mean that you don't maintain either the aesthetics or the softness of your feet. I hate it personally, but it still has to get done. I hated getting up, not today. I did think about postponing this and moving it to 11 o'clock, but then what? Then the whole time, 10 o'clock, I'm going to be worried about trying to get to 11 o'clock. That's a whole nother conversation about procrastination. But like I said, being high maintenance is not a bad thing. Don't shy away from being high maintenance. Don't shy away from being who you are. Don't make people try to change who you are simply because it may be too much for them. So it ain't for them. It's for you. You the one who signed up to do it. Okay, take pride in what you're doing. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm done for right now. Thanks again for tuning in for another episode of In the Middle with Dominique. It's me, Dominique. Subscribe on Disneyland Productions on YouTube. Subscribe on Disneyland Productions YouTube. Like, give me a thumbs up. Click the bell. Notifications on. Follow me on Instagram at the real NY212917. That is the real NY212917. And we will be back with another episode or a segment of In My Comments with some context, because I actually got to have a conversation with somebody who I almost annihilated in the comments, but I didn't. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tell your friend to tell a friend and subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. All right. Love you. Bye.